as you can see, folks, I've now arrived on the range with our two Cold Warrior pistols. Here we're going to determine if the advantages that I talked about in characteristics and design back in the shop actually translate into advantages in performance when our two Cold Warriors are used for their intended purpose. What I'm going to do in a couple of minutes is start through my standard battery of handgun drills, and I'm going to see which one of these pistols, if either one, really has an advantage in terms of performance. When I get to the defensive-oriented drills, I'm going to be firing both pistols, double action for the first shot, and then single action for each successive shot to try to keep everything as an apples-to-apples comparison. My very first test, however, is going to be an accuracy test from 30 feet, and for that one, I'm going to fire all the shots with each pistol in single action mode to try to give them the greatest chance to achieve the best accuracy with either platform. So here we go. We're going to try both of our Cold Warriors out here on the range, and finally try to determine if either one really does have an advantage in performance. And I'm all set up at 30 feet for our accuracy test. First up is the CZ75. I'm going to try 5 shots on a bullseye target, and we'll see how it does. And there we go, folks. 5 shots out of the CZ75. I don't even have to replay the video. I'm sure this was shot number 3, which I fired a little bit before I was ready. The rest of these went into probably a little less than an inch from 30 feet. So nice group and nice accuracy with the CZ75. So now let's switch gears and we'll try the M9 Beretta. And now it's the M9's turn. Same accuracy drill on the bullseye target from 30 feet. And not bad accuracy from the Beretta, folks. A little bigger group than we saw with the CZ75. We got 3 shots right here in a really nice group. A couple of them went a little high here. I really think the accuracy between the two is about the same. The difference we're seeing here is the difference in the trigger with that nice light single action pull on the CZ and the heavier single action pull on the Beretta. I think that's really the only thing that's showing up on the target. Not so much the inherent mechanical accuracy of the two, but really more the shootability of them because of that lighter trigger pull on the CZ. Alright folks, in terms of accuracy, both of our Cold Warriors did pretty well in that 30-foot accuracy test. Now it's time to pick up the pace a little bit. I'm back at 50 feet from the target. My target has now been swapped out for a human silhouette, and I'm going to start to fire the drills with the first shot double action and each successive shot single action. And we're going to see how the pistols do from this distance with a little bit quicker shot tempo. Then we'll go up and do some close-in defensive drills and see how they do there. And no problem whatsoever keeping those 10 shots centered in the chest, even at that faster shot tempo. That was actually fairly easy with the CZ75. I'm really impressed with that pistol, and the more I shoot it, the more impressed I get. every time I see something like this. But let's switch gears and give the M9 a chance at this same exact drill. And it's deja vu all over again, except this time with the M9. Here we go from 50 feet with this Cold Warrior to see how it does. And I had one errant shot with the M9, folks. I pulled one of them down into his wrist. I had to go back and watch the video to see which one it was. This was my very last shot, and I'm not sure what happened on that because they all looked good. Everything else is up here. I just blew it on this one. So I can't really credit this to the M9. This is shooter error. This is not pistol error. Everything else is nicely centered. I'd say it's just as centered as the CZ75 was on this particular drill. It was a little bit easier to shoot this with the CZ75 because of its lower or lighter trigger pull, but it was not difficult to shoot it with the M9 either. So I think in terms of this particular drill, I'm going to call this a draw because, again, the shot groups are about the same. This was not tremendously more difficult with the M9 than it was with the CZ, and this shot down here is all my fault. And now it's time for a failure drill. We're going to get up close and personal this time from 20 feet. I'm going to fire 2 shots to the body and 1 shot to the head. Now as I fire this with each pistol, I'm going to start out each of the 3-shot strings in double action mode. So I'll have to come up, fire that first shot double action, manage the trigger transition, fire out the second shot to the body, and then move up to the precision shot to the head. So this should be fun. Let's check it out and see how it goes. And first up again is the CZ75. Almost fired that one single action. And the body shots look really good on that, folks. This is first shot double action, transitioning to the single action pull on the second shot and keeping them right there. I really have to be careful with the CZ75 though, because that single action pull is so light. On this very first 3-shot string, I almost took this one out of the preferred area, and the reason is because I was starting to apply the pressure before I was exactly on target, and it fired when it was here rather than when it settled back down like these two did. So I have to be careful of that when I'm shooting these drills and make sure I'm not applying any pressure to that and firing a shot before I'm ready to. But now, let's change over to the Beretta and we'll see how the M9 does on this same exact drill. And I can't complain about this one bit, folks. That's 6 shots dead center chest and 3 shots dead center in the head from the M9. And I think this is where the heavier trigger of the M9 actually gives me just a little bit of an advantage, because I have to concentrate on my sights as I squeeze that trigger, and it forces me to focus a little bit more. Whereas with the CZ, it's so easy to just wrap those shots off and then move up. I had that one shot that went a little bit high. But with the M9, it's keeping them right dead on. Very good performance from the M9, and I am impressed. And I'm up to one of my favorites, folks. This is the multiple adversary drill. In this drill, I'm going to shoot 1 shot at the target on the right, 3 shots at the target on the left, and then 2 more shots at the target on the right, all in rapid succession. Again, I'm going to start both pistols in the double action mode, and we'll see how they do in this drill. And that was pure point shooting with the CZ75, no problem at all. Keeping 3 shots center chest on this target, 3 shots center chest on this target. It doesn't get much better than that. The CZ75 continues to impress. And hold on to your hats, folks. We're going to try the M9 on the multiple adversary drill now. Folks, I'm really tempted to call the multiple adversary drill a draw. I've got 3 good shots again on this target, 3 good shots center chest on this target from the M9. The only thing I can really see between the two is it was easier with the CZ, largely because of that great trigger the CZ has, and to a slightly lesser degree, the greater degree of pointability that CZ grip allows. But really, this is stellar performance from the M9, and since that is not a true military trigger on my CZ75, I think I am going to call this drill a draw between our 2 Cold Warriors. Folks, if you've been a viewer of mine for any amount of time, you know that I've had to fend off water bottle desperados many times in these videos. Today we have a group that's just as sinister. A group of water bottle insurgents have made their way into our camp, and we're going to have to try to fend them off with our 2 Cold Warriors. Let's see how we do first with the CZ75. Okay folks, we managed to dispense with the first group with the CZ75, but now another group has made their way past our security. We'll see if we can fend them off with the M9. That'll teach water bottle insurgents to try to infiltrate our encampment. The nature of military operations being what they are, there's always the possibility you might have to take a longer range shot than you would typically expect to with a pistol. So with that in mind, let's try both of our Cold Warriors from 25 yards and see how they do on the human silhouette from this distance. And let's go see how the CZ did from 25 yards. Not bad at all. 5 shots, nicely centered in the chest, all from 75 feet. That looks very good. And here we go with the M9 for its run from 25 yards. And since I can't see him from here, let's go see how we did from 75 feet with the M9. And of course, it just wouldn't be an HR Funk video without some sort of a camera issue. It seems the heat got to my camera with the sun shining directly on it out here, and it died. But here is my group from 75 feet with the M9. I can't really tell which one of these is the tighter group. I don't think there's any advantage really to either pistol at this distance. I think the accuracy coming out on these is a wash. And really, the only difference you're seeing, as I said earlier, is the difference in that Omega trigger as compared to the GI trigger in the M9. So in the end, folks, which one of our 2 Cold Warrior pistols gave its respective troops the greater advantage? Let me say, first of all, that both of these are outstanding pistols, and any shortcomings you might have seen during the course of this video are more the responsibility of the operator than they are the pistols themselves. Now, I have not kept track of all the X's and O's as I've gone through the videos, but I can tell you at the end, I really think the CZ75 has a slight, and I mean very slight advantage over the M9, mainly because of its feel in the hand, its pointability and shootability, and I'm not even taking the trigger into account on this because, as I said a moment ago, I think the trigger advantage that I see with the CZ75 is because of the updated Omega style trigger as opposed to the GI trigger in the M9. Otherwise, the pistols are very closely matched. The accuracy is looking very close on each one. Reliability has been fantastic all throughout this video. And let me say, the ammunition that I'm using, or that I was using during this video, is of older and somewhat dubious origins. It's a box of ammunition that I found laying around that I'm not even sure when it came from, and it was all different styles. I had some hollow points in there, I had some FMJs in there, I had a little bit of everything. Didn't matter, both of these pistols ate everything that I put into the magazines, and that's an outstanding comment for both of them. The M9 is a tremendous pistol in its own right. If someone is armed with this pistol, I don't think they are underarmed at all. If they're armed with the CZ75, I think they're not underarmed at all. So in the end, I think it comes down to a lot of personal preference. A great argument could be made, I'm sure, that the M9 prevailed in this test. In any regard, those are my opinions. I'd like to hear yours. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave those below. And until next time, good shooting. Bye-bye.